Hey guys, so today is a big day for history. You guys can probably hear my TV. Um, Trump riots. I guess I don't know. I don't really want to put my opinion out there because it doesn't matter. I'm just watching it. You guys should watch it too. It's interesting. I'll turn this up a bit. A minute. Welcome to live. Like I said, I'm watching the Trump riot. Interesting. I think it's wrong. I don't think that anybody should be rioting, protesting, whatever. But it made it racial, basically, like everything else in the world. The Trump riot was racial now. I don't think that was their intention. I mean, if it was, that sucks. Welcome to the live, bro. How are you? Wherever you are. The world's coming to the end. It really is. That's my opinion. I think the world's coming to an end. This is crazy. If you're watching it, tell me. Live chat is on, guys. I just think it's crazy. Our government is probably gonna get overthrown for sure. It's crazy. All those people that went there and they have a whole circle around them basically, and they're putting them on buses and taking them out and arresting all of them. That's crazy, or finding them or something. That's wow. I don't know, guys. Drop your opinion. This is I don't care what your opinion is. Drop a like too. All opinions, are accepted here. I'm not going to judge you for your opinion. I might disagree, but I'm not going to judge you. If you think it is a racial thing, I mean, feel free to tell me. I just think that we need to find a different way, though. This is bad. This is really bad. It's people are saying so. The Black Lives Matter protest, right? People were arresting them right away, but since a lot of these people here are white because they're Trump supporters, I guess, so all Trump supporters are white. Not true. But apparently they're saying that the people aren't getting arrested right away because they're white. My mom got mad when they made that comment, and they said that white people aren't scared of police officers. That's not true. I'm white. I'm scared of police officers. I don't want to get arrested. I'm good. I'd rather not get arrested. My parents prank called me as a cop, like one of their friends did, and I started crying because I'm scared of police officers. I don't want to get arrested. No one does. But that was a very bold statement to make. This is crazy. I think the government might get overthrown. And the world is, slowly coming to an end. This is crazy. Many of the expulsions that have occurred where the House has taken that extraordinary measure and voted to expel members were around deeming members disloyal in the context of the Civil War. 15 senators and 5 House members in total have been expelled. As for the other point you raised, I'll touch on it briefly, Rachel. When this scene was first breaking out, I, like many, was watching your breaking news coverage. You raised immediately the legal. They turned a riot, like a Trump protest, into something racial. Why am I not surprised? And then being treated with great leniency as they stormed the stairs. And so I'll point out for you and for viewers, there are several federal crimes. They should all be shot. All those people should be shot right now. Obviously, going onto property in an unauthorized manner. If they were black, they should be shot too. Either way, white or black, you shouldn't be on government stuff like that. You're not allowed to do that. You should be shot immediately. While you enter those doors, you should all be shot. Or in a manner that leads to grievous bodily injury or death. That's a felony punishable up to 10 years if someone both. When Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter stuff, people that were going into the police station, government buildings, they should have been shot. I'm sorry.
You shouldn't be, rushing government buildings. It's stupid. You don't do that. It's a law. It's a law. You should be shot instantly. Especially when you have weapons on you, should be shot. These white people, they should have been shot. That's what I would have done. I would have been like, shoot anybody that walks into this building.
A sad day for America also, I think, provides very legal.
A very sad day for America.
Could be used in future prosecution.
Well, now other countries think of us. I really do.
Federal crimes because we're talking about federal property here, but I was struck to see the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Kentucky, the U.S. Attorney in the Northern District of
I'm gonna be live till 9. I'll stay on for another hour. Ooh, it's a lag.
That occurred today. I have heard some people, some guests, and some members of Congress speak relatively careful about it. I understand the reason.
Feel free to invite people
but from the evidence that
to joining.
This was a planned, well-known, high-security, high-priority event. There was a
if it was an event, why didn't people?
Premises with a much smaller group of protesters than we've seen as compared to other events that have been handled much better. There was a leniency.
How come people are allowed to enter these buildings and just vandalize? Color, I don't care. You can be black or white. You should have shot them.
The interaction we've seen and documented just in the early accounts that we have, some of the early videos, some of them from open source reporting, and we're going to continue to work on that. So there's obviously, from a legal and
they're breaking cameras.
Rachel, I think there's obviously warranted here an independent investigation, raising all the questions of can the police or the feds investigate themselves? No. But it needs to have full independent powers to be credible. And it raises the question that you have anytime you have this kind of government law enforcement failure, which is, was this mere incompetence? Okay, they misunderstood the threat, they failed in multiple ways, and then we got the scenes we have. Or was there something malicious here? And that's a question.
I'm gonna be honest.
We don't have the answers yet.
I'd rather have Trump over Biden, but this is ridiculous. This is terrorism. You're not supposed to be doing this. They're ruining property. For no reason at all, just to ruin it.
Or were there some who were in some way a party to this, in some way maliciously partaking?
You're supposed to protest. This doesn't mean you go and ruin that. You're breaking windows and ruining historical things like paintings. Oh my God. Dude, bring on the army. It sucks they have to shoot up your own country, but I mean.
Other images that we were just saying, talking about journalism as being part of the accountability.
Use rubber bullets.
Part of the evidence that any of these news.
They'll back off. That hurts. I can guarantee. Getting hit with rubber, that would hurt.
Attacking the equipment, attacking journalists, attacking the equipment left behind in this case by some AP camera crews. This is part of what happened today. It was the ransacking, attacking, and destruction of equipment from members of the media.
They were ruining cameras, like really high quality cameras.
The journalists being run off from doing their jobs so that the mobs could take their stuff, break it, and celebrate their mob rule. All right, back to you, Brad.
This is ridiculous.
Thank you for that, and let's show our viewers what we're waiting on.
I'm not a redneck, guys. Rednecks, jeez, I don't know if that's maybe rednecks do like Biden.
Feed from inside the chamber.
I don't know. That's a stereotype. I'm sorry for making that. My bad. Sometimes that's just how it is. You know, white people are racist. That black people do crime. You know. There's so many stereotypes. I'm sorry if I make any stereotypes and I don't really realize. I live in a white neighborhood. I don't really, I don't have a whole lot of this around me. So there's a lot of racism in my school, though. I disagree with it, but, whatever. Can't do anything about it.
As the majority leader, here's Vice President Mike Pence.
Today was a dark day in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
But thanks to the swift efforts of U.S. Capitol Police, federal, state, and local law enforcement, the violence was quelled. The Capitol is secured, and the people's work continues.
This is ridiculous.
We condemn the violence that took place here in the strongest possible terms. We grieve the loss of life in these hallowed halls, as well as the injuries suffered by those who defended our Capitol today. And we will always be grateful.
Bad.
the men and women who stayed at their posts to defend this historic place.
Dude, the vice
To
president's
those
having a
who
hard
wreaked
time
havoc
for
in
this.
our
With
capital
this,
today,
he's like,
you did not win. Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house. And as we reconvene in this
I like Pence. I don't know. He's cool about it. Trump's probably like, yeah, whatever. I mean, it was about him.
Our democracy.
Pence is.
For even in the wake of unprecedented violence and vandalism,
This is wrong. This is like, everybody should have been shot or arrested. I'm not even playing.
of the people of the United States
You don't just
have
do
assembled
this.
again on the very same day to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So may God bless the lost, the injured, and the heroes forged on this day. May God bless all who serve here
Why isn't he the president?
and those who protect this place.
This guy's super like chill. Like
Let's get back to work.
he's speaking. Donald Trump. Basically, what he said is, keep it peaceful. That's all he said. He said keep it peaceful. He should be. I don't know. Some people were saying that like he should be impeached and stuff.
That's right.
Not much matter now. He's gonna be out.
The majority leader
Biden's gonna be in.
passed unanimous consent, the majority leader and the Democratic leader be allowed to speak, and that the time not count against 2 hours of debate in relation.
It's crazy. Yeah, welcome. I'm just watching the Trump stream, man. The Trump thing, the Trump riot. It's crazy.
Without objection, so ordered.
I can't believe this.
On the state of the American people, the United States Senate will not be intimidated. We will not be kept out of this chamber.
We lost the sub. I'm not surprised. I figured we were gonna lose a sub from this.
We will not bow to lawlessness or intimidation. We are back at our post.
Can we lost a sub
We will
because we
discharge our
didn't?
duty under the Constitution,
I guarantee that's the reason why we lost the sub because of that.
and
Whatever. We don't need them.
tonight. This afternoon, Congress began the process of honoring the will of the American people.
This whole thing's wrong.
Votes.
Just wish we could all be people. It doesn't matter about race.
4 years,
Tired of
two
it.
centuries.
I want to be friends with black people, white people, Asian people, Mexican people.
Under all manner of threats,
No, I can't
even
because
during an ongoing
race.
armed rebellion and the Civil War,
This is gay.
the
This is
clockwork
stupid.
of our democracy has carried on. The United States and the United States Congress have faced down much greater threats than the unhinged crowd we saw today. We've never been deterred before, and will be not deterred.
I'm gonna make a
today.
post on our Instagram.
They
I'm gonna
tried
say
to
live till 9.
disrupt our democracy. They failed. They failed.
Guys, I'm not doing this because I'm a racist person. I don't, that's not me. I'm not doing it for that. I just,
Our nation was founded precisely so that the free choice of the American people is what shapes our self-government and determines the destiny of our nation. Not fear.
Yep,
not
there we go.
force,
Put in our story.
but the peaceful
Live till 9 Eastern.
of the popular will. Now, we assembled this afternoon to count our citizens' votes and to formalize their choice of the next president. Now we're going to finish exactly what we started.
Yeah.
We'll complete the process
To
the
America.
right
We
way, by the book.
need to do something.
We'll follow our precedents, our laws, and our Constitution to the letter. And we will certify the winner
This is bad.
of the 2020 presidential election.
I don't know. Maybe the Democrats did cheat. I don't really know.
Dominate the United States Congress.
Who knows?
This institution is resilient.
If they did, then that's wrong of them, to be honest.
The American people,
Same if Republicans were to do that to Democrats.
nothing less. Democratic leader.
Mr. President. Mr. President, it is very, very difficult to put into words what has transpired today.
Yeah.
I have never lived through or even imagined an experience like the one we have just witnessed in this Capitol. President Franklin Roosevelt set aside December 7th, 1941 as a day that will live in infamy. Unfortunately, we can now add January 6th, 2021 to that very short list of dates in American history that will live forever
It's
in infamy.
ridiculous.
This temple to democracy was desecrated, its windows smashed, our offices vandalized. The world saw Americans' elected officials hurriedly ushered out because they were in harm's way. The House and Senate floors were places of shelter until the evacuation was ordered.
So apparently today is going down in history. I'm not surprised.
Lawmakers and our staffs, average citizens who love their country, serve it every day, feared for their lives. I understand that one woman was shot and tragically lost her life. We mourn her
They just gave me
and
the
feel
chills,
for her
bro.
friends and family.
Then again, you shouldn't be up
These
in there.
images were
Unless the
projected
other
to the
people
world.
shot them, which is messed up.
Foreign embassies cabled home their capital, their
Still,
home
bro.
capitals to report.
You made the
harrowing
decision to
scenes
go
at
up
the
in
very
there
heart of our democracy.
when you're not supposed to
This
be
will
in
be a
there.
stain
Which is
on our
stupid of
country,
you.
not so easily
So
washed
you got
away.
shot. I'm not surprised.
Terrible, indelible
What do you think they would have done to anybody else?
The 45th president of the United States, undoubtedly our worst. I want to be very clear. Those who perform these reprehensible acts
They're
cannot
calling
be
Trump the
called
worst
protesters.
president.
No. These were rioters and insurrectionists,
This
goons and
is so
thugs,
bad.
domestic terrorists.
I'm getting a headache from this.
They do not represent America. There were a few thousand violent extremists who tried to take over the Capitol building and attack our democracy.
It's wrong.
They must and should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
Hopefully by this administration, if not, certainly by the next. They should be provided no leniency.
Exactly.
I want to thank the many of the Capitol Hill Police and Secret
They
Service
should,
local police
like I said, they
and
should all
today.
been shot as soon as they walked in that building. Pop, pop, pop. I would have shot every one of them. You don't do that. It's messed up. We're talking about America here. We're not talking about presidents and all that people. We're talking about America.
And Speaker Pelosi, Leader McConnell, Leader McCarthy, and myself,
Stupid.
who came together and decided that these thugs would not succeed.
They are thugs.
That we would finish the work of our that our Constitution requires us to complete
Amen.
in the very legislative chambers of the House and Senate that were desecrated. But we know always.
I'm sorry. If you're a Trump supporter and you're watching me, I'm
and
sorry.
again tonight.
But my opinion, I know that some people don't respect other people's opinion, but my opinion is that this is very wrong. And
The president who promoted conspiracy theories that
I'm starting to have
motivated
second
these
thoughts
thugs,
about Trump. You know,
the president who exhorted them to come to our nation's capital.
I still always have
led
him
them
though.
on.
This is not Trump.
He
This
hardly
is
ever
Billy.
discourages violence, and more often
This is
encourages it.
He looks like Trump, I know, but his name's Billy.
Bears a great deal of the blame.
Now, Biden's a little weird too. I think they're both kind of weird.
President Trump's doing, incited by his words, his lies,
Like Republicans, right? You lost. It's okay. You know, whatever.
his
You have to
responsibility,
like.
his
Don't be a
everlasting
poor
shame.
sport about it. I mean, maybe they cheated. Oh well. What do you think happens every year?
Certainly.
I'm sure that people cheat both ways. It does not matter. If you lost, you lost. Oh well. You know, Republicans can't win every year. That's just not how it works. That's not how the world works. So like that's like saying another Democrat wins the next year. Oh, let's have a whole history fit about it. Oh well.
The people who enabled him, the captive media that parrots his lies,
Stupid.
and the people who follow him as he attempts to push America to the brink of ruin.
He almost did start World War III too.
Let us remember
that.
In the end, all this mob has really accomplished is to delay our work by a few hours. We will resume our responsibilities now, and we will finish our task tonight. The House and Senate chambers will be restored good as new and ready for legislating in short order. The counting of the electoral votes is our sacred duty. Democracy's roots in this nation are deep.
Are they really going to recount every single
and they will
vote?
not be undone, ever, by a group of thugs. Democracy will triumph, as it has for centuries. So to my fellow Americans,
Guys, next presidential election, I'll be able to vote, by the way.
Televisions today, and who are worried about the future of this country, let me speak to you directly.
Yeah.
The divisions in our country clearly run deep.
Yep.
But we are a resilient, forward-looking, and optimistic people. And we will begin the hard work.
Hey, who's that girl from the presidential debate?
Because here,
yo, what's up?
We do hard things.
What's up, bro?
In America,
how are you? I'm watching the Trump riot.
Overcome our challenges.
Yo, it's the end of the world, my man. It's the end of the world.
Mr. President, Majority Leader, I yield 2 minutes to the Senator from Oklahoma, Senator Lockford. Senator from
It's
Oklahoma.
crazy.
The Vice President, you said things more eloquently than how we say it in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, we'd say
I'm doing good, Luis. I'm doing good. I'm just, you know, this is messed up. What's going on in this country? Dude,
Why would you do that?
I don't care if you're white or you're black. Whoever stepped foot in that building, in the government building, they should have all been shot. I'm sorry for saying that, but it's true. You're not supposed to step on government property unless they let you in. Like, I can't believe they let him do that. That's crazy.
That person is not my enemy. That's my fellow American. While we disagree
Trump,
on things
man.
and disagree strongly at times, we
I don't know.
not encourage
I don't like Biden that much, but
effort.
Trump ain't nothing better.
I want to join my fellow senators in saying thank you to the Capitol Hill Police, the law enforcement, the National Guard, the Secret Service, who stood in harm's way while we were here debating. They were pushing.
I suggest go watching this too. This is some history right here. This is gonna go down in history. This event.
Because we were all unaware of what was happening.
The Great Divide. I can see happen.
Because of their faithfulness and because of what they have done. And I want to thank them.
Thank you.
Ronald Reagan once said, "Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means." Peaceful people in my state in Oklahoma want their questions answered, but they don't want this, what happened today.
What?
They want to do the right thing.
Wait a minute.
Do it the right way. They want to honor the constitutional process, but they also want to have debate about election security because they want to make sure it's right. Which is why it's an important issue that still needs to be resolved. Transparency in government just doesn't seem like a bad idea. Obviously, the commission that we have asked for is not going to happen at this point. And I understand that. And we're headed towards tonight, towards the certification of Joe Biden to be the president of the United States. And we will work together in this body to be able to set a peaceful example for the days ahead. I yield the floor. Democratic leader. Senator from Nevada, Senator Cortez Masto. Senator from Nevada.
Mr. Vice President, I know that this room is full of leaders of both parties who love this country And many believe that for America to succeed, our politics must find common ground. And that has never been clearer than today, when armed rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, emboldened by President Trump's false and inflammatory rhetoric about the 2020 elections. I believe that we in this chamber have a special duty as leaders to work together to lower the temperature of our politics. And I hope that my colleagues would question the legitimacy of this election in Arizona and all of these other states, now see the dire and dangerous consequences of sowing doubt and uncertainty. I also know that as U.S. Senators, we all take solemnly the oath we swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. At this moment in history, I can think of nothing more patriotic than renewing our faith in the charters of freedom that our founding fathers crafted for our republic, starting with the fundamental American principle in our Declaration of Independence that governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. The people have spoken in this election, and our only job here today is to do what they ask. It is not to argue election security. That's not the place for what we are doing today. Our Constitution specifically reserves to the people the right to meet in their respective states and vote for the president and vice president. As a result, individual states oversee and implement the election process, not the federal government. To guard against fraud or irregularities in the voting process, the states are required to have robust election security measures. Likewise, state legislatures have the opportunity to examine evidence of voter fraud before they certify their electoral college votes. And our courts, from district courts to the United States Supreme Court, adjudicate legal challenges and election disputes. All of those things happened after the 2020 election. State houses and courts across the country took allegations of voter fraud seriously and followed the constitutional process to hear challenges to this year's elections. No state found evidence of any widespread voter fraud, and neither did any court ask to review the state's findings. In Arizona, Republican Governor Doug Ducey, Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, Republican Attorney General Mark Brnovich, and State Supreme Court Chief Justice Robert Brudenell all certified the results of the election on November 30th. And we know, we've heard, Arizonans have been voting by mail for almost 30 years. And Governor
You're wacky, you're crazy.
expressed confidence in the
Oh, what's up? We have someone else here too. Thank you for the second like. How are you? How are you? Sorry, I was letting my dogs out. I was letting my dogs out. I am witnessing the history event, basically. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it. Say who you are in chat. We can talk. If you can put your opinion. This is a non-judgmental opinion zone. I don't care what you think. I may disagree with it, but I won't harass you about it because I don't care. Okay, it's your opinion. This is America. Or if you're from Canada, whatever. I live in America, so I don't care. Live chat is on. Guys, I'm gonna say my opinion again. No matter who you are, you can be white, black, I don't care. Racism doesn't matter in this situation. If you walk into a federal building, you should get shot. You should, as soon as you take one step into that federal building, you warn them, say, get out. If they don't listen, start shooting one of them. You shoot one of them, see if they back off then. Shoot them in the leg. You don't want to kill them because that's. But this is wrong, bro. This is so wrong. It's unreal.
involved checking ballot presidential election, but also ballots for
Jesus Christ.
Bro, what the fuck is your face? You're not gonna get a job like that.
You're not gonna get a job with them.
Totals for each
It's all
of the
good, bro.
races.
Rap. You want to hear a freestyle?
Every single race in every
Alright.
precinct.
Alright, give me
The
3
difference
words.
between the hand count and the machine count was 0.
Ferris wheel,
Maricopa's
taco,
report
and
stated
calculator, I
no
guess.
discrepancies were found by the
Alright,
hand count
Ferris wheel,
audit
taco,
boards.
calculator. Alright, let's see what we got here.
Seeking to find any reason to
See what we
contest
got,
these
yo.
results, some of the state Republicans have tried to claim that
Alright.
Maricopa County
Yo.
failed to follow state
Yo.
law in conducting this audit by selecting voting center
I was hungry, couldn't get a meal. All my homies, they would never squeal. Everything I do is very real. Karma goes around like a Ferris wheel. I make a ring and a punch on ball like funnel. I'm going to bottom. My bitch is so bad that she look like a model. They say they want beef like I beef like a topper. When I can fuck with a hater, I snap like an alligator. Boy, I'm doing a major. You're not even ready. The shit that I'm on got me doing numbers like a motherfucking calculator, boy.
and the court found that Maricopa County officials
Oh, that was clean.
lawfully have performed
We hit our late goal at 2, guys. Like I said, till 9 o'clock.
If they had done so,
We'll be on here.
they would have exposed
Talk to me,
themselves
I'm bored.
punishment.
The senators.
This is history. This is a legit history event. This is like 9/11.
Just saying,
This is bad.
my colleagues
Unlike the Black Lives Matter protest, this was on a federal property, which
they
means
certify their votes
that
tonight.
everyone could basically, there's people that were in the riots, they could get arrested, but they had to do something wrong to get arrested. These people, they were hanging off the federal building and stuff, all of them should have been arrested. This is different. Black Lives Matter, you know, but when people are robbing stores and stuff, then that's wrong. You shouldn't have been doing that. That was stupid. You basically went to an event just to rob a store and take advantage of it. Some racist groups, though, were here, and I think they were trying to take advantage of it. I don't know. Someone said, there was a news thing, they said that they had a bomb, so I don't.
My heartfelt gratitude goes out to the Capitol Hill Police who valiantly defended our building. and
I'm just,
our lives.
I'm watching something, a part of history. That's
Well,
just
it's true that
insane to me.
legitimate concerns have been
This is
raised with regard
something.
to how some of the key battleground states conducted their presidential elections. This is not the end of the story. We each have to remember that we've sworn an oath to uphold, protect, and defend this document, written nearly 2.5 centuries ago by wise men raised up by God to that very purpose. That document makes clear what our role is and what it isn't. It makes
He's talking
clear
about the Bible.
who does what when it comes to deciding presidential elections.
And then he's talking about I thought I saw a picture of God on
In
it.
our system of government, presidents are not directly elected. They're chosen by presidential electors. And the Constitution makes very clear under Article 2, Section 1, that the states shall appoint presidential electors according to procedures that their legislatures develop.
We did it, Biden. I remember that. Oh, it's cool
The
though.
12th Amendment.
Imagine
It
being
explains
like
what we're
winning
doing
president.
here
Well, that's
today in the
cool.
Capitol.
I have to
Explains
say that's pretty
that the
cool.
President of the Senate, the Vice President of the United States, shall open the ballots, and the votes shall then be counted. It's those words that confine, define, and constrain every scrap of authority that we have in this process. Our job is to open and then count. Open, then count. That's it. That's all there is.
I guess.
Now, there are, of course, rare instances in which multiple slates of electors can be submitted by the same state. That doesn't happen very often. It happened in 1960. It happened in 1876. Let's hope it doesn't ever happen again. In those rare moments, Congress has to make a choice. It has to decide which of the electoral votes will be counted.
Everybody at that like thing that didn't leave, they're being charged to the highest
And let's hope
extent.
that it never does. Now,
That are still there after curfew. They're being held to the highest
Or
extent.
had previously stated their intent to raise objections with regard to these. I've spent an enormous time on this issue over the last few weeks.
That means like
With lawyers
life in jail.
on both sides of the issue. Met with lawyers representing
That's
the Trump
crazy.
campaign, reading everything I could find about the constitutional provisions in question. And I've spent a lot of time on the phone with legislators and other leaders from the contested
Imagine not
states.
leaving after the curfew and then you
I
get
didn't initially declare
life
my
in
position
jail.
because I didn't yet have one. I wanted to get the facts first, and I wanted to understand
And
what
then
was
like
happening.
they have videos of people breaking stuff and their faces being shown.
Serving in government.
That's gonna look
contested
bad
states,
if they see you and then they
had an
remember that
opportunity to
moment.
do whatever they felt they needed to do to make sure that their election was properly reflected.
You could lose your job for
I
that.
spent an enormous amount of time reaching out to state government officials in those states.
Oh, he has his
In
mask
none of the
down.
contested states. No, not even one.
Joking. I don't like masks.
I
Masks is annoying.
discovered any
It's the one reason
indication
that they want Biden to
that
win
there
because
was
of this
any
mask
chance that
thing.
any state legislature
But
or secretary of state
whatever.
or governor or lieutenant
It doesn't
governor
matter. It's
had
not that big of a
any
deal.
intention to alter the slate of electors. That being the case, our job.
It's gonna make
is
COVID
very
end sooner.
simple.
I don't mind wearing it, I guess.
This simply isn't how our federal system is supposed to work. That is to say, if you have concern with the way that an
I'm
election
gonna call someone.
in the presidential race was
It's called
handled in your
Jay.
state,
Let's ask him about this.
the appropriate response is to
He always
approach
has a
your
good
state
answer on
legislatures,
everything.
first and foremost. These protests,
Sometimes.
from hearing from those who have raised concerns,
Ringing up the J.
focused on their state capitals, not the nation's packed capital.
Yo,
Yeah, what's up, for?
are you
Our role is to find our role.
are you watching this thing going on in the Capitol?
When it comes to members elected to our own
I've seen it. I'm checking it every once in a while to see if anyone died.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, a bunch of white people trying to invade.
No,
the damn
dude,
White House.
literally, my opinion on the whole thing is, I don't care if you're black or white. If you enter federal property, you should you should be shot. You should first warn them, okay? You don't want to shoot them right away. You should say, hey, don't come in here, or you will be shot or whatever.
Obliterated, nigga. Yeah, should be getting sent to the gulag.
And if they don't listen, they want to come in. You shoot them. You shoot one of them. You don't shoot all of them. You shoot one of them, and then they get scared and they just start shooting all of them, bro. That's like you don't rush a federal building. Let's say it's hey, Black Lives Matter. That was different, right? That was they weren't they what Jade? No, go away. Sorry, my sister.
That nigga went straight into my island.
Yeah, that the Black Lives Matter thing, that was it wasn't illegal. It wasn't like horrible until they were robbing stores. Like people were taking advantage of the riot. They were on the streets. They weren't on federal property. Trump protesters just took it to a whole nother level. I don't know. I'm shocked. I'm so shocked.
I would expect a bunch of fucking Caucasians to think
I know. And weren't Trump supporters complaining about Black Lives Matter protests? What the fuck? I'm so confused. I'd rather have Trump over Biden because I think Biden's weird. But I don't think that we should go rush a federal building because that's going to change anything.
Hold on, let me call you back.
All right.
For that matter, until this beautiful Constitution was written in the United States of America. So it is my fervent hope that the way that we respond to this today, my dear colleague, is that we give the biggest bipartisan vote we can.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.
This is some stuff.
There's a tendency around this place, I think.
Well, there you go, guys. Here's Jay's opinion on it.
That we're the first people to confront something when that's seldom the case. And to underappreciate what the effect of our actions will be.
See, Jay even agrees with me. Everybody should have been shot on sight. You get warned, you don't listen, you get shot. You're on federal property, dude. It's so wrong.
Of a statute written in the 19th century that was meant to actually settle our electoral dispute.
It's so messed up.
As the senator from Utah
I don't get it.
to give us a ministerial rule, except in very rare
Like-
circumstances. That's what that law.
America, dude. We're falling apart. We need to, I wonder how other countries think of us, honestly. They're probably like, I don't know.
And that's the
We should be
law
scared of that.
to be asked to overturn the judgments of 60 courts in America. Many of the courts in Arizona.
Bro, this man getting mad.
Of how the
He's getting beat up. He's yelling.
because there's no evidence of fraud. And by the way, the fact that 37% or 39% of Americans think there's no evidence of fraud, or they think there's evidence of fraud, does not mean.
How did fraud get into this? I'm so confused. Story still.
If you turn a blind eye.
Oh, they're talking about.
Conspiracy theory. You can't now.
They're talking about the.
The Senate and say you're ignoring the people who believe that the election was stolen. Go out there and tell them the truth. Which is that every single member of the Senate knows this election wasn't stolen. And that
Jesus Christ. My man's getting mad right now, bro. He's flipping out. He's mad because he thinks that he doesn't like how people are saying that it's all fraud. Honestly, I think there is a little bit of fraud, but it's both sides. It's definitely not one side. I think that much right now.
So now we find ourselves in a position just days after many senators here swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. Every single member of the House of Representatives swore the same oath as well.
Bro.
And I think we got a solemn obligation and responsibility here to prove once again that this country is a nation of laws and
it's crazy.
and the only result that we can reach together is one that rejects the claim of the senator from Texas and the other members of the House and Senate who seek to overturn the decisions that are made by the states, by the voters in the states, and by the courts. If we follow what they have proposed, we will be the one.
Imagine how many people are being arrested right now that sticked past their curfew.
Who cast a vote in this election, whether they voted for the president.
Some of those people have families and stuff, and they just wanted to get out of there.
This, and I
But they
deeply
can't.
appreciate the opportunity to serve with every single one of you. Thank you, Mr. President. Majority Leader.
They're calling the vice president Mr. President. So does that mean that, I don't know, I'm confused. Is Trump impeached now? He did a good job. He's doing a really good job of doing this right now.
Mr. President, when I arrived in Washington this morning, I fully intended to object to the certification of the electoral votes. However, the events that have transpired today have forced me to reconsider, and I cannot now in good conscience object to the certification of these electors.
Oh, there's a black dude in there too. It's not a bunch of white people. There is a majority of white people, but there is a black guy in there.
Very institution, my objection was intended to protect the sanctity of the.
All right, guys, we got 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes.
And I thank law enforcement for keeping us safe. I believe
Right.
there were
Yeah,
less
20 more
changes
minutes.
to the November 2020
I'm in the live.
process and serious
Thanks for coming out,
irregularities that resulted
whoever
in
was
too many
here.
Americans losing confidence
Still
not
got 20 more
only
minutes,
in the
though.
integrity of our elections, but in the power of the ballot as a tool of democracy. Too many Americans are.
Someone drops it. Everybody looking at it.
Nevertheless, there is no excuse for the events that took place in these
While she was
chambers today.
talking, somebody did something. Everybody looked. This was them. They were all looking at her. And then you heard, and then I was looking. That was funny. I'm sorry. Everybody looked while she was talking. Dude, imagine someone was just sitting there in their chair, their spinning chair, and they just fall over, and everybody looks at them. That'd be funny. I can see that happening. I'd be dead. Oh, there's two black people. There's another one. Oh my god. There's another black person too. I think she's black. I don't know. It don't matter. We're all human. We're all the human race.
Democratic leader.
There's only one race. It's the human race.
To Senator Booker and 2.5 minutes to Senator Kane. In reverse order.
You heard me? They're only one race, the human race.
Virginia.
I applaud the comments of my colleague from Georgia deeply. My first job after school was in Macon, Georgia, working for a federal judge, Lanier Anderson. And I learned a lot about integrity and a lot about law from him. I also learned some sad lessons that in the history of Georgia and indeed Virginia and many states, so many people, especially people of color, have been disenfranchised over the course of our history.
That is so true.
Our late friend, John Lewis, congressman from Georgia,
They have been disfranchised. That's a very fancy word.
on Bloody Sunday just for marching for voting rights. That act of violence.
Tell you right now, it's not all white people. I hate when people say it.
To come together in March of 1965 and work to pass in a bipartisan fashion the Voting Rights Act. We should be coming together today after acts of violence as a United States Senate to affirm the votes of all who cast ballots in November. Instead, we're contemplating an unprecedented objection that would be a massive disenfranchisement of American voters. The Georgia result was very clear, a 12,000 vote margin, 2 certifications by Republican officials, 4 separate recounts and canvasses, 7
16 minutes.
As in the other states. If we object to results like this, the message is so clear. We are saying to states, no matter how secure and accurate your elections are, we'll gladly overthrow them if we don't like who you voted for.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what we'll be saying, really what we'll be doing, is as the body that acted together to guarantee Americans the right to vote, we will become the agent of one of the most massive disenfranchisements in the history of this country. So I urge all of my colleagues, please oppose these objections. Thank you, and I yield to my colleague from New Jersey.
Senator from New Jersey.
Yeah, they got everybody, all the state senates.
Mr. Vice President, I can only think of 2 times in American history that individuals laid siege to our capital, stormed our sacred civic spaces, and tried to end and overrun this government.
Ain't happening.
Of 1812.
Bro, trying to overthrow the government. Yeah, go look with that. Honestly.
What's interesting about the parallel between the two is
You overthrowing the government is like wishing for pigs to fly. It's probably never gonna happen. Unless everybody's in on it, you know. So then, bro, you're gonna do squat.
One was a monarch in England, and the other were the flags I saw all over our capital, including in the hallways and in this room, to a single person named Donald Trump.
Damn, he's right.
The sad difference between these 2 times is one was yet another nation in the history of our country that tried to challenge the United States of America. But this time, we brought this hell upon ourselves.
That is true. Donald Trump, man.
My colleague from Texas said that this was a moment where there were unprecedented allegations of voter fraud. Yes, that is true. They were unprecedented when the president, before the election even happened, said, if I lose this election, then the election was rigged. That's unprecedented.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's unprecedented before the night of the
Holy,
voting even
this guy is speaking truth.
was even done that he called it rigged. And it's unprecedented that he's fanning the flames of conspiracy
Damn, right?
to create a smoke screen in this nation.
I'm
To
trying to
cover
solve
what
it.
he is trying to do, which is undermine our democratic principles. But it's not just that. The shame of this day is it's being aided and abetted
Hello,
by
welcome
good
to the stream.
Americans who are falling prey, who are choosing Trump over truth,
What the hell?
who are surrendering
to the
I'm your only
passion
viewer. That's pretty
of
sad.
lies as opposed
Hey,
to
listen.
standing up and speaking truth
Shut
to
up.
power who
Okay.
are trying to
It's because no one
fundraise
likes me. I lost a sub today because I think this live stream,
the shame of conspiracy theories
watching the
as
Trump
opposed to doing
riot, I think I lost a sub because of that.
valuable
I never said I agree with it. I said that I think that everybody that entered the federal building should be shot,
Our democracy is
warned, and then
I
shot.
saw it when I saw pictures of yet another insurgency, of a flag of another group of Americans who tried to challenge our nation. I saw the flag of the Confederacy there.
Dude, I'm about to cry. This is sad.
How will we confront this shame? How will we confront this dark second time in American history? I pray that we remember a Georgian. His words, all I can say is, we must in spirit join together like those Georgians on a bridge called the Edmund Pettus who joined hands, who were called
Dude, go watch
to restore
Netflix.
democracy.
No, dude, this is history. They literally just put this in the history book. This is the first time since 1816 that Americans have basically went into a federal building and raided it. This is history right here. I'm watching it live. I ain't giving up on that.
Majority Leader,
Everybody at that riot that stayed there after like the curfew, they're getting life in prison basically. They're getting the highest extent of the law. That's crazy. This is like gonna change the world. This right here is gonna change the world. I can see it happening.
Colleagues, today's been ugly. And
I don't know what to say.
I planned to talk about
You want someone like
because I'm kind of a history nerd, and I wanted to celebrate.
Someone made this about race, though. That's what pisses me off.
Feels a little
Everything's about
naive
race
to talk
nowadays.
about ways that American civics might be something that could unite us and bring us back together. 1801 blew everybody's mind all over the world, by the way. John Adams loses to Thomas Jefferson, and Adams willingly leaves the executive mansion and moves back to Massachusetts, and Jefferson peacefully assumes power. And people all over Europe said that must be fake news. Those must be bad reports. There's no way any executive would ever willingly lay out.
Well, not anymore because this is 2021. We're in America. We're the hypocrisy country.
It feels a little bit harder now.
Bunch of, I don't know. I'm mad.
Blood has been spilled.
This is stupid. I don't know why we do this.
I was with octogenarian members of this chamber that needed to
Tired of living in a world of hate.
troops
So
and police stabilize them to get down the stairs at a time when a lot of our staffs were panicked and under their desks and not knowing what was going to happen to them. It was ugly today. But you know what? It turns out that when something's ugly, talking about beauty isn't just permissible. Talking about beauty is obligatory at a time like
Get
that.
it. I follow this guy. I cream pied my toy.
After the ugliness
What
of
the
today.
fuck?
Because our kids need to know that this isn't what America is. What happened
What the-
today isn't what America is. They've been given a glorious
Yeah, I'm gonna
inheritance.
call
It's the 59th presidential
Let's see what
election.
happens.
If the vice president wasn't the chair, and if the president pro tem was, I'd have made some joke that Chuck Grassley has voted in 2/3 of those 59 presidential elections.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail.
It's not as good as
She ain't gonna answer. We were like,
leave
leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We want to tell the Americans that come after us
Feminist,
that
dude.
this republic is broken, that this is just a banana republic, that our institutions can't be
How many
trusted.
other subs do we
don't want
lose?
that. We don't want that in this body. We don't want
We lose
that in
any
our
more?
towns. I don't think we want to tell our kids that America's
I wouldn't be
best days are
surprised.
behind us, because it's not true. That's not who we are. America isn't Hatfields and McCoys.
No, we didn't
blood
lose
forever.
anymore.
America's a union.
Welcome back.
There's a lot that's broken in this country, but not anything that's so big that the American people can't rebuild it.
Yeah,
That
okay.
freedom and community and entrepreneurial effort and that neighborhoods can't rebuild. Nothing that's broken is so big that we can't fix it. Generations of our forefathers and our foremothers, our ancestors,
Cranky.
have spilled blood to defend the glories of this republic. Why would they do that? Because America is the most exceptional nation in the history of the world, and because the Constitution is the greatest political document that's ever been written. Most governments in the past have said might makes right, and we saw some of that through the nuttery today.
If it is, then why are we still in this
God gives us rights
situation?
by nature, and government is just our shared project to secure those rights.
And I think I guarantee other countries, when they think of America, obesity, racism,
constitutional system.
That's-
We've got some governmental tasks.
I don't know what else, to be honest.
Governmental tasks, but the heart of
Riots,
America,
fighting.
the government. The center of America is not Washington, D.C. The center of America is the neighborhoods where 330 million Americans are raising their kids and trying to put food on the table and trying to love their neighbor. That's the center of America. We're not supposed to be the most important people in America. We're supposed to be servant leaders who try to maintain a framework for ordered liberty so that there's a structure that back home where they live, they can get from the silver frame of structure and order to the golden apple at the center, as Washington would have said it, which is the things that they build together. The places where they coach Little League, the places where they invite people to synagogue or church.
Someone's back. I don't know who it is, but someone's back.
Like kicking Hitler's ass, or like going
Yeah.
to the moon.
This dude just cussed on live TV. I like him.
It's about places where
He
moms
said
and dads
kicking
are raising
Hitler's ass.
kids, and we're supposed to serve them by maintaining order and by rejecting violence. You can't do big things like that if you
My grandfather killed Hitler.
You can't do big things.
You know history.
Together as Americans.
Hitler killed
We,
himself.
Americans, are
So that
the
means my grandfather's Hitler.
There's a lot of uncertainty
JK.
about the future.
What time is it?
Get it? There's a lot.
Wait, 6 more minutes and this live's done.
But if you're angry, I want to beg you.
Give me 10 minutes and then
Don't
maybe.
let the screamers
Oh my god! I can't believe it.
Legalists become your drug dealers. There are some who want to burn it all down. We met some of them today.
boy.
They're not going to win. Don't let them be your prophets. Instead, organize.
I'm sorry for whoever got shot, to be honest. Hey, if you haven't liked the stream, like the
Down
stream.
the street who's lonely, no one tell anybody that his wife died. He didn't have a lot of friends. Shovel somebody's neighbor. Or shovel somebody's driveway.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
can't hate somebody
Someone was
just
stabbed,
shouting
someone
at
was shot.
The heart of life is about
Only one
community.
person died. I'm shocked.
We're supposed to be
I was
servant
gonna
leaders.
expect
The
like at
constitutional
least more than
system is
that.
still the
At least
greatest
10.
order for any government ever, and it's our job to steward it and protect it. Let's remember that today when we vote.
I don't think anybody here likes Trump anymore.
Senator Kirk.
Nope.
Senator from
I
Illinois.
think Biden's gonna win.
Thank you.
Well, he already won, obviously, but
In March of 1861, a Springfield lawyer caught a train to Washington.
Pence is doing a
His name
good
was
job,
Abraham
though.
Lincoln. It wasn't his
He looks
first
very
career.
professional, I have to say.
He'd served as congressman 15 years before, and he returned in the beginning of the Civil War to serve as president. It was a different place than he knew it as congressman, and 15 years had changed a lot. The Spriggs boarding house across the street, which is now the Library of Congress, was gone, and this building was changing. Big changes. They're building it.
Just minutes, like hours ago, people were in the room that they're now sitting in. That's
In
crazy.
the earliest days of the war,
People were vandalizing, jumping over the sides of it.
Stop building the dome. Costs too much money. We can't spend any more time on it. And he said, no,
Dang, bro.
we're going to build that dome and we're going to finish it. That dome and this building will be a symbol of this country that will survive this Civil War and come back strong.
Amen.
So they built the dome. They won the war. And since those days, that dome and this building have been a symbol to this country, a symbol of unity and of hope. Tourists come through here before COVID-19 by the tens of thousands. And if you've ever noticed their tours, they're often shushed. People are saying, show some respect for this building. We know this building in the Rotunda as a place where some of the greatest American heroes of both political parties lie in state, and we go there to honor them. We know this building because we work here. We enact laws here that change America. We gather for State of the Union messages from presidents and honor the people in the gallery. This is a special place.
Okay, guys, we have 3 more minutes.
This is a sacred place. But this sacred
Hopefully you guys can hear
place
this. I think
was
you can.
desecrated by a mob today. On our watch. temple to democracy was defiled by thugs who roamed the halls and sat in that chair, Mr. Vice President, the one that you vacated at 2:15 this afternoon, sat and posed for pictures, those who were roaming around this chamber. What brought this on? Did this mob spring spontaneously from America? No. This mob was invited to come to Washington on this day by this president for one reason. Because he knew the electoral college vote was going to be counted this day. He wanted this mob to disrupt the constitutional process which we are part of. This mob was inspired by a president who cannot accept defeat. If you wonder whether I'm going
Nobody
too far,
likes
I want to
Trump.
say, just read the transcript with the Secretary of State from Georgia and listen to this president's wild conspiracy theories, one after the other, swatted down by that Republican elected official and his attorney as having no basis in fact. This president begs, he coaxes, he even threatens that Secretary of State to find the votes he needs. In any other venue, that would be a simple, obvious crime.
Nobody likes Trump right now. After what he
The
just
links
did.
he will go to are obvious. The Texas senator says to us, well, many people still agree with him, you know, when it gets down to the bottom line. Many people have fallen for this presidential position that it must have been a rigged election if I lost. Well, I would say that after we've lost count, 57 lawsuits, 62 lawsuits, I've rigged so many numbers, after 90 different judges, after this president took his case, the best he could put together, to the highest
Trump,
court
man.
in the land across the street.
Mr. Donald Trump right here.
Personally chosen 3 justices on the Supreme Court. I say to the
He's in
senators,
some
"Texas,
trouble."
You know much more about that court than I do. I don't believe they let that paper
He's in
that
some
he
trouble.
out there even hit the desk before they laughed it out of the court. And that's the best he had to offer.
I still
No
do not like
evidence
Biden.
whatsoever of this
I don't like
regulation
anybody.
and this fraudulence.
I'm
The
15,
senator
bro.
from Texas
I don't need to
says
like
we just want
anybody.
to create a little
Next
commission. 10
elections,
days,
I will be
we're
able to
gonna
vote.
audit all the states,
So my opinion matters.
particularly the ones that are in contention.
And I'm gonna
here,
vote
and find out
definitely.
what actually occurred.
I need to. That's my American right
And
to
it
vote.
really draws its parallel
It's my
with
American, like,
1876 Hayes and Tillman.
as an American, I feel like you need to
Don't
vote.
forget what that commission,
Unless you
that
like,
so-called political compromise,
unless you have a reason why you don't want to vote, then
it
that's
was not
different.
just some ordinary governmental
If you don't like both of
commission.
them, then
It
don't
was a
vote.
commission
You also have
that
the right to
killed
do that.
Reconstruction, that established Jim Crow, that even
Jim Crow
after
laws.
a civil war which tore this nation apart, it
What,
re-enslaved African
racism?
Americans, and it was a commission that invited the voter suppression we are still fighting today in America.
Racism.
Let me close by saying this. The vote we're going to have here is a clear choice of whether we are going to feed the beast of ignorance or we are going to tell the truth to the American people. We saw that beast today roaming the halls. Let's not invite it back.
Majority Leader. President, I yield up to 5 minutes to the Senator from Kansas, Senator Marshall. Senator from Kansas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Freedom of speech and the freedom to protest are provided in our Constitution.
Alright guys, it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna keep watching this. This is I suggest watching this if you are. It's crazy.
Violence and mob rule which occurred at the
It's
U.S.
just,
Capitol today.
I don't know. It's something. But thank you guys for joining. Peace out.
And like all of us in the chamber, I'm thankful for the heroic law enforcement officers.